Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for having me join you. First, I would love to express gratitude for all of the attendees. These past 2 days have been very interesting and compelling content, and I hope to please with this last presentation. I'd also love to wish all of you and your loved ones health and strength in these times. It's a little crazy out there right now. As previously mentioned before, my name is Meshell, and I'm joining you from the product management organization at GitLab, where I am a senior product manager in the ops section focused on helping our users deploy their products faster. I'm here today to spend a couple moments with you discussing our product vision and roadmap for 2020. First, I would love to review what brought us to where we are today. As a reminder, GitLab is always increasing the value of our product, and we spend an immense amount of time and investment creating meaningful value and shipping a new version on the 22nd of every month, executing on our fully public roadmap that can be found in our handbook online. This graph is a really interesting representation year over year of all the immense value we've been adding, and in 2020, we aren't expecting to slow down. This kind of growth is exactly what makes GitLab the most popular and preferred solution for the enterprise. And actually, it's interesting to note that in 2014, we started with only 7 employees. And as of the beginning of this year, we have over 1,300 employees. This growth and scale is exactly what enterprises are looking for in order to support their DevOps transformation and solutions. It's also interesting to note that we have a pretty broad adoption with millions of different users at all variety of levels and professions, including product managers, developers, designers inside of GitLab. And in fact, that has contributed to our growth and revenue as well. This would not be complete without saying that the strength of GitLab is founded upon the open source model with lots of contributors from the community that helps keep our velocity and time to market extremely fast. It's a really exciting time in DevOps, and when you're going against hundreds of point solutions and major competitors, it's a great advantage. But just because we're popular for the enterprise doesn't mean that we are leaving our users and developers behind. The Git flow is a single experience across the whole software development lifecycle, and that means developers and users are loving us. Everything is in one place, making their job and handoffs between their different teammates, whether it's creating scope as a product manager, building their CI pipelines, continuously delivering value to their own customers, or monitoring their application. It's all done in GitLab from a single place. And in 2020, we're striving to improve this balance and make a dev-first experience super premium, but also the enterprise experience really easy too. And as we all know, organizations are all becoming software companies. I mean, that's especially apparent in this time. I think yesterday I just used an application to order groceries. So with that, we also know that businesses are relying on their software development teams to help ship their products faster. And recently I was on a call with a sports apparel company, and they described the hundreds of thousands of centers of excellence that are for supporting their back office systems. This may sound familiar to some of you. They have tools managing their logistics, their teams, their inventory, and distribution centers. And in fact, a bug in one of the systems across one of their small teams ended up causing a cascade of impacts to delivery. And it shows exactly that they were unable to ship their product to their consumers because of a software failure. It became really clear in that conversation with that customer, in order for them to survive and thrive in the sports apparel industry, they needed to improve the efficiency of their developers to ship their consumable product faster. And as we were diagnosing their cycle time and hiccups between these systems, we learned that their DevOps toolchain looked a lot like this graph. A bunch of different marketplace tools with different data models, and they were, as mentioned before, absorbing a lot of risk in between each of these tools, since they were unable to identify and triage bottlenecks between teams that were in one of these tools and another tool. And in fact, this lack of transparency meant that they were experiencing an immense amount of business impacts, not only on the cost side from losing business or inventory, but they were spending an immense amount of money supporting all of these tools. As an industry, we spend $5.2 billion on DevOps tools. And the sad part is 80% of those users are not very happy with those tool sets. The sports apparel company was definitely one of them. We started to glean very quickly that a way to make their supply chain experience smoother, we needed to improve the cycle time of their developers. And actually, a way to do that was to consolidate and remove those touch points between each of those individual point solutions and get visibility into the handoffs between teams. We were able to identify that there's bottlenecks between developers and security, as well as product managers and designers. It makes a super great case for a unified platform. And this is probably one of my favorite slides to show the GitLab experience for both developers and enterprises. You can see that we manage that DevOps cycle end to end with all our entire tool, giving you visibility with a single data model in a simplistic and secure manner, allowing you to leverage canned reports baked into GitLab to see where all of those parts are happening. And even as a product manager, I'll share with you transparently, I have a hard time using tools that aren't super easy when I can poke a developer and ask them to ship something. But GitLab makes my job so much easier in collaboration. Everybody in GitLab's company is inside of the tool, working on issues and merge requests, collaborating. This includes engineers, engineering management, testers, security personnel, as well as our delivery team. It makes it so fast to iterate and to ship code when you're working all from the same data set. And with the introduction of something like design management in Core, which we recently made available this year, designers are now a part of that conversation too. It's so fun to collaborate with all of these people in the same place, and it allows me to be more effective as a product manager. As we think about GitLab's replacement of disjointed tools, there's a couple of experiences that we're going to be prioritizing in 2020. This is especially true as we're trying to help shift security left and bake in integrated security testing and improve the collaboration experience for the enterprise. We also want to make sure that companies are able to manage their deployments at scale or run high availability. And GitLab can accomplish many of these tools alone without having to use a marketplace that other companies are relying on today. It becomes more evident in our 2020 plans that as we want to drive cross-stage participation, we don't want to sacrifice the developer experience for the enterprise as well. So what's even cooler about customers, GitLab, and prospects recognizing that GitLab is causing this shift in collaboration and tool chains of DevOps as we know it, analysts are also recognizing this as well. And GitLab is leading it. Which brings us to the second topic, talking about how it's one way for a company to be focused on being an application that dabbles in all these different areas. And it's a very different way for a company to have the objective of becoming best in breed in all of the areas. This is like the decathlon of DevOps or taking a clean sweeps at the Oscars. And in fact, GitLab is best in breed in 9 different categories. And part of this is as a result of our immense speed to market and our co-creation and collaboration with the best companies implementing the ultimate experiences of DevOps in the market. This fuels a machine of constant innovation. And in 2020, we're looking to exponentially deliver more products with our community. As mentioned previously, we're seeing over 200 plus contributions a month from our community, allowing us to take in much more than what our development teams can deliver alone. This openness and velocity is extremely advantageous in this time, and it allows us to fully capitalize on that vision of an end-to-end DevOps platform. These are all the analyst reports that are currently the standard in the DevOps world today. It's interesting to note that there's many companies that qualify as an entrant for these analyst reports using different products. GitLab is the only company that competes on all these different reports with a single product. It's a testament to how we really are a DevOps platform, and we have that seamlessness as a single solution and toolkit. I've given you a couple of teasers about 2020 roadmap, and I know that you've heard a little bit about our goals that in other summit sessions. So I'd like to take the next 20 minutes or so to really dive into the feature functionality that we're expecting to render in the rest of 2020. But first, I want to set the floor with the DevOps journey that will lay the foundation for why we have chosen to go in certain directions this year. First, customers typically come to GitLab in order to improve collaboration and get better IT productivity with source code management. And they realize really rapidly that as they start to bake in developer collaboration and code reviews, that they can automate some of their build processes with continuous integration. This is a foundation for GitLab. And as mentioned in the previous presentation, we are a leader in these two areas. After a user or a company has adopted those two frameworks, they typically go into continuous deployment, and with the pressure of organizations to be more secure, more compliant, they also adapt to avoid having vulnerabilities in their application. So they start to adopt functionality like SAST and DAST, or the secure offerings in GitLab. After that adoption journey of SCM, CI, CD, and secure, the journey really is up to the end user. We see a lot of people monitoring their applications with our Prometheus integration, of course, leveraging Kubernetes templates and Terraform for infrastructure as code on our configure stage. We also observe customers really loving the integrations that they can get with using our project management functionality and our portfolio management functionality with issues and epics all in one place. It's a great foundation to build on when you know that customers are here to build better collaboration with their development team and gain efficiency with continuous integration and deploy value continuously to their customers with CD. In 2020, we're really wanting to focus on our strengths and doubling down on the SCM and CI offering that we lead the market with today. This is about the developer experience and enriching the existing experience to be stronger and better for our users. But we also want to make sure that as people adopt the journey, that we have enterprise experiences in mind. And we're also going deep in security. We want to make sure that we are a world-class leading provider for secure functionality, and it's becoming more and more relevant to shift security into your pipelines. And that is definitely something top of mind for us in 2020. This will help us prioritize the embedded experience of DevSecOps and really give people all the data and context that they need in order to do their jobs to reduce friction and handoffs between these different personas. For example, with the sports apparel customer that I was referencing before, they would identify an incident or a bug from their ops team in a different tool, they would throw it over the fence, and it could take weeks to deploy a change. And with using GitLab, it's all in one place. You're able to leverage something like a security dashboard to detect vulnerabilities and a grading of your project to then identify that vulnerability, whether it's from a SAST, DAST, or dependency scan, and populate a fix to it and promote that to a production environment so that vulnerability cannot be exposed and exploited by nefarious actors. The DevSecOps experience will empower multiple teams to work together. And in 2020, we really want to expand the DevOps experience to include other workflows like product and program management, designers, quality, security, and others. The ultimate vision for GitLab is for everyone to be involved in a single application where they're on the same page with their team and there is no bottleneck that can't be identified and resolved quickly. We're also adding more support for designers, as I mentioned before. Design management is a really interesting category that we recently moved to core, the free offering, so that everybody could gain an advantage of having designers work alongside them in GitLab. From a feature set perspective in GitLab, you can expect to see an introduction of more secure features inside of the UI to help build that security presence, as well as improve the collaboration between product and program management professionals. This will really help facilitate the vision of a single DevOps platform to reality, and help us break down silos between these different teams. Another priority in 2020 is to build out the value stream and cycle analytics to make sure you understand the impact and ROI that these different activities have on your teams. When everything is co-located in a single place, all the teammates have the same insight and ownership over the delivery process, and it's an easy way to communicate about problems as they pop up and triage them throughout the right team as necessary. It no longer becomes a blocker, as it may have been if you're using a disparate tool. I just threw a ton at you. So to boil down our 2020 product investment themes, first, we want to continue to lead the market in source code management and continuous integration. So we're gonna invest in those areas continuously. The second top priority for 2020 is to add depth to our security offering, where you'll see us expand our offering in SAST, DAST, dependency scanning, fuzz testing, and more. Lastly, we want to make sure that the enterprises can adopt GitLab simply. We're going to focus on objects like flexible authentication, where you can use your existing authentication tools within GitLab. We also want to build out an ease of access with compliance features so that that experience is painless when using GitLab. And lastly, we want to prioritize analytics, making GitLab your source of truth for running your business and being efficient within your teams. Let's take a moment to dive into each of the features for these themes. First, talking about SCM and CI. On the source code management side, the top two areas that are complete but not quite lovable are forking and mirroring. This is about repository interactions. We really want to mature the experience that it takes of forking a repository and merging upstream changes. Also, many of our customers are mirroring repositories. We want to make this experience best in class and push button, very easy to perform either of those actions to support the open source and enterprise use case of inner sourcing your application. Beyond those two functionality, SCM's improvements will really be focused on the developer experience and making it a seamless and improved flow throughout GitLab. The second top priority in the theme perspective of CI is maturing our most recent introductions of complex use cases and pipelines. There's three core features for this. The first is directed acyclic graphs, which are also referred to as DAG in GitLab. DAG is a way to build and model relationships, and this is one visual where you'll see different jobs connecting to various jobs and environments inside of GitLab. It's a very interesting and neat tool for those who have very complex and vast pipeline management. We'll see lots of improvements to make this an easier to use and highly fit and finished feature in GitLab. Given that relationships between pipelines are often complex and hard to manage, we're looking at investing in expanding our parent-child pipeline feature functionality as well. Today, you can have a parent pipeline, spin-off children pipelines. Those artifacts are not necessarily populated down, so that will be one feature that we are looking to expand on in 2020, as well as expanding more dynamic child pipelines within the same project. This will be a nice feature for those who are, again, having dependent jobs in a monorepo state that they want to trigger after the results of a parent pipeline. Lastly, in the CI stage, improving rule syntax to allow you to set job policies that determine whether or not specific steps or sequences are undertaken inside of your pipeline. This will help your pipelines to be more efficient, more performant, less fragile. It's a really great feature for those who are using includes and lots of other templates inside of GitLab. Second, let's talk about security. This is our top priority around investing in the security feature set of shifting security into pipelines. We really want to become a world-class offering to support the DevSecOps experience inside of GitLab. And in order to accomplish this, there's 3 areas of our vision for security that we're looking at moving to a more complete maturity. That includes static analysis, dynamic analysis, dependency scanning. When we think about static analysis, SAST is about helping users spot vulnerabilities in source code. And our focus for 2020 is to expand the supported languages for SAST and even add potentially language agnostic capabilities to SAST, making it a very comprehensive static analysis tool. We're also looking forward to including SAST in our free offering, making that statement that we want to support the DevSecOps experience for the community a top focus for us at GitLab. Second, our DAST offering is about analyzing running web applications for known runtime vulnerabilities. On the feature investment side, we're looking to add a 1-minute passive scan against a target website and make DAST highly usable. We're going to be focusing on extending the configuration in the web UI, again, to make it super easy to use. It should be a very seamless experience that's push button for you as a security persona inside of GitLab. But it's also, as you can see in these screenshots, on the pipeline views inside of the developer experience to capitalize on identifying these vulnerabilities first before something gets introduced to production. Dependency scanning is the third category we're looking to move in a maturity, which is making it stronger and a better presence from a world-class perspective. And dependency scanning at its heart is to analyze external dependencies like libraries for Ruby gems, for example. In this case, we'll be identifying known vulnerabilities in those libraries and make a notification on each code commit in the GitLab CI/CD. We offer this today, and what we're hoping to accomplish in 2020 is by expanding the languages supported so that you can leverage more libraries as a part of your experience. Lastly, fuzz testing will round out our security offering in its completeness and comprehensiveness. Fuzz testing is a method to discover defects that may lead to exploitable vulnerabilities. And in 2020, we recently acquired 2 fuzz testing organizations. The first one was PeachTech and the second one was Fuzzit. This will help move this category to viable. The way acquisitions work with GitLab is that you purchase these companies and you rebuild them inside the GitLab technology stack. So by expanding that offering with these acquisitions, we'll be able to offer really great fuzzing technology in 2020, at least in a viable state. We're very excited for these integrations inside of our platform. Shifting into our third theme and our last theme for our 2020 roadmap, ease of use for the enterprise. Today, it can be challenging to authenticate and manage group memberships with single sign-on providers and LDAP. We really want to make this an easy experience for you to have flexible authentication options and leverage a wide range of identity providers. We also want to make sure we offer SAML group sync to keep your membership of your groups up to date with your SAML provider. Also, the boundaries of GitLab can be challenging for users, groups and instance versus projects, subgroups. We want to improve the workspace boundaries in GitLab while also making sure we support an optional subgroup inheritance from a permission perspective. This will mean that we will avoid automatically granting access to the same people in the parent group to the subgroup so that you can create separation of permission sets within the group. Also, in order to make your compliance experience easier and more push button inside of GitLab, we're looking to expand audit events. We just recently finished up or are finishing up an audit event refactor, and we hope to deliver a minimal version of audit reporting. Lastly, on the compliance side, building out a compliance dashboard so that those compliance personas feel at ease and understand where you are in your compliance journey as a part of your GitLab experience. It really will incorporate that compliance persona inside of your daily workflow, really embracing the whole entire team of your organization. Lastly, this idea of value stream metrics and analytics as a part of the enterprise experience. In order to understand the benefits that GitLab is rendering for your organization, it'll be really valuable for you to take a look at the value stream metrics and understand what does it mean for your issues and how long it takes for those to get resolved or a deploy to happen to production. We're very excited personally as a company to see these metrics expand and analytics capabilities become richer inside of GitLab. Quick recap of our 2020 investment themes. We're expanding our leadership and enriching our leadership in source code management and CI, while also adding feature functionality for SAST, DAST, dependency scanning, and fuzz testing to make our security offering best in class. And we also want to make it super easy for enterprises to adopt, manage, and use GitLab as their tool of choice for DevOps management. As a wrap up, I would love to close up this presentation with a call to action to sign up for our First Look program. First Look is an opportunity to shape our product vision and to get access to early features. It's an invitation also to participate in research studies. I personally, as a product manager, reach out to our First Look members to give insight and feedback on prototypes prior to building it in GitLab. And the coolest part is you get the opportunity to win GitLab swag. So I would definitely check this out if it's something that you're interested in participating in. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jackie, for your presentation. As Jackie mentioned, we have a few minutes left for the Q&A, and feel free to share your input, your questions, and yeah, maybe also some insights and challenges for your side in the Q&A tab or over the chat. We are happy for your feedback. So far, I got a few questions, so I would say let's start right in. The first question was, how has the competition with GitHub been? What are you doing in response?
Super question. So GitHub has actually transitioned their strategy to match GitLab's. Originally, GitHub was a marketplace offering, allowing you to plug and play, and GitLab was a DevOps platform. We're now seeing a shift in making a DevOps platform from Microsoft as well. What we're planning on doing is keeping up the velocity of our most loved features. As long as we can keep that pace up and that time to value up, I don't foresee competition being nearly as painful as it could be.
All right, thank you. The next question that's up would be, what would you say, what is the most exciting area for GitLab right now of all the things that you mentioned?
Oh, wow. I would say the expansion of more workflows and functions in GitLab. Traditionally, Git can be a scary and intimidating thing for people who are maybe not a developer to adopt it, but GitLab makes that so accessible to other personas and other individuals. I am personally energized when a customer says in GitLab, we are seeing our commits increase and cycle time decrease. And the only way to really accomplish that benefit is to have everyone using the tool and leveraging the data asset in the same place.
All right. You have been mentioning GitLab and GitHub. So next question is towards the competition. What would you say, who are your largest competitors right now?
I really think that we only have a single competitor in Microsoft as a DevOps platform. We're, of course, going up against hundreds of point solutions, and we've seen a little bit of a decrease in competitive deals against Bitbucket, which is an Atlassian product. We are definitely more focused on the Microsoft approach. We have seen an increase in other early entrants on the DevOps platform with like digital AI, expanding to include other companies with competitive offerings to the GitLab individual solutions, and also JFrog looking to expand just their Artifactory capabilities and to be more of a DevOps offering. Definitely an exciting time.
And comparing to the companies or competitors that you mentioned, what would you say? What makes GitLab's product strategy different, or maybe also better compared to the others?
I think it was mentioned earlier in this summit, but GitLab is fully transparent. We post everything online. It's super accessible. You can see our roadmaps, our processes, every feature that's work in progress, our research, for example. This allows us to get feedback faster, to deploy features faster. We're also an open source organization, meaning we can leverage the open source community out there as a ecosystem partner, but also to contribute back to our platform. So I am not constrained by the 6 developers on my team. I have millions of developers that can build into my solution. So I would say that those are probably the two main benefits: the transparency and the community that we can rely on as a company.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, over the 2 days, we also heard that GitLab is doing acquisitions here and there. So maybe an outlook for the future. Where are you considering more acquisitions in the next time?
Yeah, I would say anywhere on our maturity plan that you see a blank or a partially filled Harvey ball. Recently, I mentioned the security acquisitions for fuzz testing, security as a priority for us to invest in this year. So I could foresee that being an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have so far. As for the sessions before, of course, if you have more feedback for Jackie or also for the other speakers, feel free also to send it to me. I'm happy to forward it to all the GitLab speakers and of course all the others as well. But for the moment, I would say that's a wrap. So thanks again for being here, Jackie, for going into the questions and for your presentation.
Perfect. Thank you so much.